Today we're really jumping into something important, moving past just using AI tools to, well, genuinely collaborating with them. Our mission here is to explore how you can combine your unique human smarts, your expertise, with AI's power to get results that honestly neither can manage alone.
That's spot on. It's a completely different way of thinking, really. Not just efficiency gains, but real synergy. Think of it less like you directing a tool and more like, I don't know, a creative duo. Or maybe a really high-functioning team. The real magic, happens when our different strengths click together. Humans bring context, judgment, creativity, that gut feeling from experience. And AI brings the processing power, the pattern spotting, the super fast generation. So today we're going deep on understanding what each brings, figuring out the best ways to actually work together, and setting up systems workflows to get the best possible joint output.
Okay, let's unpack that. If we're building this human AI dream team, what's the secret sauce?
Yeah.
What are we best at in this equation?
Well, when we talk human strengths, it's the irreplaceable stuff, right? Like really understanding context, reading between the lines, grasping the subtle stuff. Then there's ethical judgment. AI follows rules, sure, but we have to make sure the outcome is, actually good and responsible.
Right, the should we question, not just the can.
Exactly, and those creative leaps, the aha moments, that's still very much human territory. Plus, emotional intelligence, knowing how to connect with people, and just plain old real-world experience. You can't code that easily.
Yeah, that blend of intuition, experience, values, that's key.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our side. But what about AI? Where does it really, flex its muscles? What are its superpowers here?
Okay. So AI excels where scale and speed are crucial. Think about processing information, just plowing through massive data sets in seconds, finding connections we'd never spot.
Way beyond human capacity there.
Totally. And pattern recognition, not just obvious trends, but really subtle, complex patterns in data that might signal, say, a market shift or a hidden customer need, things we might miss. And of course, there's the rapid content generation, consistency across tedious tasks, and, it just keeps going. Tireless iteration.
The tireless part is huge. No coffee breaks needed.
Right. And knowing this helps us see the collaborative opportunities where mixing these strengths gives you something much better. It also means being aware of limitations, limitation awareness, knowing where AI might fall short or where human judgment is absolutely essential. Like AI might draft a great marketing email, but if the tone fits your brand voice.
Okay, so we know the strengths, the ingredients, but how do we actually put it together? How do we structure the work? It's not just knowing what everyone does best, but how they do it together.
Precisely. Setting up good collaborative workflows is vital. It really starts with smart task division, assigning parts of a task based on who's naturally better suited. So maybe you, the human, find the tricky problem, provide all the nuance, the specific goals, the constraints, and then the AI tackles the heavy lifting on data analysis or generating a bunch of initial ideas based on those parameters.
And it's not just a single handoff, right? So it sounds like it needs to be more of a back and forth, like these iterative processes you mentioned.
Yeah.
Building feedback loops, that feels really important.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Because without that constant loop, that dialogue, AI can't really learn your specific needs or preferences. It's just guessing in the dark otherwise.
Right.
Then you need clear quality control points. These are the moments where human oversight is non-negotiable. Your sanity check moments, basically. This is where you inject the ethics, make sure the data analysis actually makes sense in the real world, or maybe tweak a solution to fit some internal company dynamic the AI just wouldn't get.
The context again.
Always. And finally, there's this principle of continuous improvement. You need to regularly look at how you're working together and refine it. See what works, what doesn't, and adjust. It's a partnership that grows.
Okay, we've covered the strengths and how the work flows, but like any good team up, it's not purely mechanical, is it? There's an attitude involved. How we approach this matters.
You're absolutely spot on. Developing that collaborative mindset is just as important. Part of that is what we call active guidance. It means giving the AI clear, specific directions, but also staying open to its suggestions, its outputs. It's not just barking orders.
Not just write a blog post.
Definitely not. It's more like write a blog post for, say, small business owners. Adopt a helpful, slightly informal tone, focus on practical tips for saving time, and make sure to include a link to our latest webinar, Oh, and avoid overly technical jargon. See the difference? Specificity is key.
Yeah, much clearer. And I think that attitude part is where people can stumble, right? It's easy to fall back into just treating it like a simple tool you command. But it sounds like you need to provide constructive feedback too, help it learn, and have some creative openness. Be willing to actually consider ideas from the AI that might seem a bit out there at first.
Yes. That creative openness is huge. Maybe the AI suggests something that feels totally wrong initially. A weird marketing angle, perhaps. But you pause, you look closer, and you realize, it picked up on some data points, some user behavior you hadn't fully appreciated, and suddenly that weird idea becomes the seed of something brilliant.
Ah, okay. Letting it surprise you sometimes.
Exactly. Which leads nicely into partnership evolution. You're constantly learning how to work better together based on what's actually producing results. It's about building that intuition, that smoother workflow over time.
All right, enough theory for a minute. How do we actually do this? Let's get practical. Say you're facing a common challenge, like needing some fresh ideas, brainstorming. What does this look like for you, the listener, day to day? Let's dive into some techniques. Maybe start with collaborative ideation, using this alternating brainstorming technique.
Great idea. Let's use a concrete example. Imagine you run a subscription software business and you're seeing, say, a 5% customer churn each month, mostly in the first 3 months. That's a problem you need ideas for.
Okay, so the human step one. Define that challenge clearly for the AI. You might prompt it with something like, we need engaging, actionable ways to boost customer retention, specifically in the first 90 days. Focus on proactive engagement, not just reacting to problems. Clear goal.
Right. Then the AI's turn. You ask it to generate, let's say, 7 to 10 really diverse approaches. You're looking for variety here, maybe even some wild cards. Quantity over immediate quality, just to get concepts flowing.
And then the human comes back in the alternating part. You don't just pick the safest ideas. You review what the AI generated and push it further. Maybe ask, okay, AI, which of these ideas is the biggest long shot and why might it actually work? Or take that idea about onboarding and combine it with the one about community forums. What does that look like? You're actively shaping and refining with the AI, not just taking its first answer.
Yeah.
You co-create the promising directions.
Exactly. That pushes beyond the obvious.
So, okay, we sparked some ideas. But an idea isn't useful until it becomes something tangible, like content. How do we build that out collaboratively? Let's talk progressive refinement process.
Perfect segue. Let's stick with a practical example. Creating a guide on, say, cybersecurity for small businesses. Important topic, but often pretty dense.
Right. So the human starts. You probably draft the main outline, maybe jot down the key takeaways for each section. This is where your expertise comes in, knowing what small business owners actually need to hear, what questions they have. Maybe you already have some specific examples or warnings in mind.
Then the AI takes that structure and generates the first draft. Its strength here is filling in the details quickly, explaining maybe the technical concepts in simple terms, following your outline, getting that V1 done fast.
And here comes the progressive refinement. You, the human, review that draft. You don't just accept it. You might say, AI, this section on phishing scams needs stronger examples, make it more relatable. The AI revises. Then maybe you add, okay, good. Now, weave in that anecdote I mentioned about the local bakery getting hacked.
Yeah.
You go back and forth, layering in your specific knowledge, refining the tone, adding nuance. It's a true collaboration to polish that draft.
Precisely. It's a dance back and forth, leveraging both strengths.
Okay, last big area. Tackling those really complex, gnarly problems, the big strategic challenges. How can we use AI there? Let's look at this structured problem-solving framework.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. Like, let's take inventory management for a retail business. Classic problem. Too much of the slow-moving stuff, always running out of the popular items. It's a balancing act.
So as the human, you first define that problem. But with all its messy details, we need a more dynamic inventory system. We've got 2,000 plus products. Demand is all over the place. We have seasonal peaks, supply chain delays. How do we balance stock better? You give it the full, complex picture.
Then a really powerful AI role here is to help you reframe that problem. Ask it to look at it from different angles. How does this look from a finance perspective? From operations? What about customer experience? Marketing impact?
Okay, so it forces you to see it more holistically.
Exactly. It might surface connections or trade-offs you hadn't considered. Maybe it suggests segmenting inventory in a totally new way based on demand volatility, not just product category.
Right. And then your next step is the human. You review those different framings. Then you work together to gather information, but smartly. The AI can pull in general best practices for inventory management, maybe model some other industries, the theoretical stuff.
while you overlay the specific realities of your business, your actual sales data patterns, your supplier relationships, maybe specific constraints like warehouse space or budget limitations, you combine its broad knowledge with your specific ground level truth.
That combination sounds incredibly powerful. Okay, so these are great frameworks, but are there little tips, maybe tricks, to make this partnership even smoother, even more effective day to day?
Oh, definitely. To really enhance the quality of what you produce together, giving specific feedback is crucial. Don't just say, improve this, say, make this section more concise, or add data to support this claim.
Explicit.
Very. And provide comparative examples if you can. I like the tone of this piece. Can you make the draft sound more like that? Also, ramp up complexity. Start with simpler tasks as you build the relationship with the AI, then move to more sophisticated collaborations. And finally, deliberate practice. Just like any skill, you get better by intentionally working on, say, how you prompt for creative ideas or how you refine AI-generated text for your specific voice.
Makes sense. Practice makes perfect, even with an AI partner. But what about when it just doesn't work? When you hit a wall or the AI seems stuck in a loop, that's bound to happen.
It absolutely will, and managing that is key. First, expectation management. Understand what the AI can realistically do well and what's still firmly your job. Don't expect miracles on every prompt.
Okay.
Second, communication clarity. If you're not getting what you need, rephrase your prompt. Be even more explicit. Try explaining the why behind your request.
Maybe approach it from a different angle.
Exactly. Then there's iteration patience. Sometimes getting great results takes, 5, 6, 7 rounds of back and forth. It's a dialogue. Don't give up after the first try. And finally, finding the right balance of control. Know when to be very directive and when to give the AI a bit more freedom to see what it comes up with. It's a judgment call that you'll develop over time.
It really sounds like this isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. You kind of develop your own style with it.
You absolutely do. You'll figure out your own collaborative style. What kind of task division feels most natural to you? Do you prefer AI to generate first drafts, or do you like starting with your own outline? Align the collaboration with your strengths. If you're a brilliant strategist, use AI for the data crunching that feeds your strategy. If you're a great writer, use AI for research and outlining, then you do the final polish.
Tailor it to yourself.
Right, and document what works. If you find a prompt structure or a workflow that gives you great results, save it. Reuse it. Build consistent interaction patterns. The more consistently you interact, the better the AI, in a sense, learns your preferences.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've really journeyed from seeing AI as just another tool in the desktop to envisioning it as a genuine collaborative partner. We've highlighted how powerful it is when you understand these complementary strengths, your human judgment, your creativity, your deep experience, combined with AI's speed, its pattern-finding skills, its ability to generate possibilities.
Absolutely. And the techniques we discussed, things like alternating brainstorming, progressive refinement for content, that structured problem-solving approach, these aren't just abstract ideas. They're practical frameworks you can use to tackle really complex professional challenges more effectively than ever before. It genuinely opens up new possibilities and, frankly, helps you produce higher quality, more impactful work.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. As you practice this, as you refine how you work with AI, getting more intuitive about dividing tasks and giving guidance, think about how this evolving partnership isn't just changing how you work, it's becoming one of your most valuable professional assets, one that learns and adapts with you over time. How might that reshape your entire approach to your career?